I'm back to chalking again. Let me get me set up here. Let's see. I gotta think. There I am. And I want to share it. So let's do that. Hang tight. I'm just going to share this to my couple groups and to my personal page. And then we're going to start crafting and chalking and inking and all kinds of little projects I'm going to experiment with. So let's do that. And hold on. Yeah, okay. There we go. Alrighty. I'm going to shout out to Carrie Lonke that I met at the Chalkature Convention a couple weeks ago now. Yesterday she did a live where she did this watercolor effect using markers on plastic and then onto a little canvas. So I'm going to try that today. See how it works. I've only got these little markers I bought at the Dollar Tree. So, and then I forgot to get some more at Michael's. So we're going to try it and see what it's like. If you haven't watched before, I'm Robin with Odessa Rose Creates. I live here in Elkhorn, Nebraska, which is part of Omaha. And just for a couple years before that, I lived in Centerville, Iowa for 22, 23 years. And I ran my own home decor and gift shop, coffee shop, hotel suite combination called Tangleberries. And now we moved over here to be closer to our kids. And so now I love to craft and create, and Chalkature is my main medium for that. And I hope you get to watch me and like my page, share it if you know someone who would love to create also. And we can share ideas, say hello if you're watching. And we'll get started. I'm going to try to watch my comments over here on the side. Before we get started, I created a couple projects in the last week or so using our Club Couture transfer, which is an exclusive transfer to those who are members of the club. And to become a member, you simply go to our website, and I'll put the link in there later, or you can go to my page and see the link. It's an exclusive club where you get this transfer and some paste packets. You get 3, and you'll get to create with only an investment of $19.99, $20 a month. And it's a great way to learn how to Chalkature and to learn how to use the transfers in different ways by watching me. So I want to show you those projects. So this was kind of your basic Here Comes the Sun transfer, the look they were kind of going with. Let me pull out the transfer. Here it is. So they always come in this size, 9x15, 9x12, size B transfer. And so it came in here like this. You cut the pieces apart. There's surf and sand also, which I have not used yet. And you just can layer it and use the colors that either come in the packet, or you can invest in some other colors that you can purchase on our website also. So this was kind of the basic Here Comes the Sun. And if there was room, I could have put surf and sand down below here. But since I'm setting it in this little frame, there really wasn't room for that part. So then I created a more farm look. So I wanted to use our barn transfer. And so I made the sun peek over the barn and put Here Comes the Sun. And these replicate rows of crop in the ground, or work in the ground maybe. So that was my fall theory. This is scrapbook paper that I applied to this board. This is the actual board. And so that was my Here Comes the Sun on the farm. And then a couple days ago, one of our art contests in our uplines had a challenge that you could only use this Here Comes the Sun transfer and not any additional transfers. So I didn't want to just do, the basic. I wanted to step it up a notch. So I incorporated more scrapbook paper, and I selected a pattern of a rooster because I thought of the sun coming up and the rooster crowing. And so I used my Cricut Maker to cut the rooster out in these different colors and layers. Got it all layered, and then I laid out my paper in the background and got it all how I wanted it. You have to wax your paper a lot so that you can lay a transfer on top, because our transfers are reusable. They're like a sticker. And so that stickiness would stick to the paper and would tear it if you did not wax it. So you definitely want to wax. And then I also wax over it all too. And then I Mod Podge the paper, the whole project, onto a canvas. This is just a canvas. And I aged that first with my stain wax also. And then I applied it with Mod Podge on, and then I just added these little nail heads, screw heads on there. You can see those. So that is how I did it. I'm just waiting for the delay to make sure you can see it up close. Yep. So they're just layers of paper. And the sun, and Here Comes the Sun, are all with that transfer, and same with the rose, making the tracks of the rooster in the dirt. So that was my other creation I did with Here Comes the Sun. Of course, you can always use our inks and use them on fabric. Our transfers can be used in many ways, with the chalk paste or with the inks. So that was just one way that I used, 3 ways I used this transfer of the month. So I'm gonna pop this away and see if there's any comments. Thanks, Joyce, hi, how are you? Thank you. Let me put this away. Okay. So today I wanted to work with I Am an Original. I had this for a little while and I've been wanting to use it. I want to make it on this, I want to experiment with the watering colors with the markers like Carrie did. I believe she lives in Pennsylvania. I met her at the convention in Dallas. And yesterday she did a live showing how to do the watercolors with markers. So we're going to give it a try. I'm going to experiment on a little cheap, inexpensive canvas to see if it works. And then once I get better at it, or I get more markers, because I don't have very many markers, I'm definitely going to put it on this. And I think it will coordinate with my Here Comes the Sun farm themes. Because this just kind of has that paisley, to me, it has that handkerchief, farm handkerchief look. So I want to coordinate it with my other farm related pieces that I've been working on. So let's give it a try. And I hate that my comments won't stay up. I don't know how to do that. Make them so they stay up. They just don't. I'm going to keep messing with it. I swipe and it still doesn't work. Okay. Well, anyway. So, Carrie said to get a piece of plastic. This is a little, it's thicker than a grocery bag. But I just had this laying out, so I cut off a piece of it. And you just take your regular markers, kids' markers, and I kind of want to do a red. I wish I had different shades of reds, but I have reds and browns maybe. So I kind of want it to look like, kind of like a farm handkerchief, a farmer's handkerchief, but It doesn't really matter. We're just experimenting, so take that off. So once we get the watercolor onto the canvas, which we're going to show you to do, then when that dries, we will chalk on this. So yeah, it'll be fun. Hi, Beverly. All right, so she took the markers, and you got to do this quite a bit. I'm going to do the red and the brown. Probably not black. I don't want it all trying not to be black. So you just mark. And you want to make sure you got enough area to cover your canvas. So I'm doing like a 8 by 10. So I need to get lots of marker on it. And this brown or this red looks really orangey to me, so and once we get all the ink on here, then you spritz it with water, and then it kind of spreads. The only other markers I have are my Cricut markers, which I have never used. It came with some package deal. I'm not really do the writing on my, but they're fine print, so so I don't know how well they would really come off on here. Yeah, they're super fine. So that won't work. I have permanent marker, but I don't know if that would work either. All I know is just regular markers. So we'll just use this. And you got to think about art class when you mix colors that they end up getting brownish. So if you don't want brown, pay attention to what your colors you are using. Keep them in the same family. It's your best bet so you don't end up with brown if that's not what you're wanting. So like I said, I have no idea if this is going to be enough ink. I'm just going to keep putting it on here. When I ink this on, I think I'll use black, or when I paste it on, I'm just going to use paste. I don't know what we want. Maybe throw in some yellow. I'm just gonna cover it. Has anybody else ever done this before? We're going to spritz it with water, and that'll make the ink spread out and you won't see the lines anymore. Probably end up being very orangey with that yellow in there, but that's okay. We're just messing around. I really wanted it on like a deep red, but okay, so let's spritz it. You see that it's already basically going to be brown. Probably. It's okay. Okay, now just let it set for a little bit, I think. And hi Sherry, Caitlin, Beverly. We are doing a watercolor on a canvas using markers. This is a sheet of plastic, and it is the only set of markers. I just bought them today at Dollar Tree, but I need to get some good Crayola markers with lots of colors to experiment. But so you take your canvas and then you canvas side to the ink, and you just lay it in it and press it down. And then I believe you can turn it over, but I'm gonna get a towel so I don't get ink all over mine. And I have no idea if this is gonna turn out. That's why I'm experimenting on a cheap canvas. Okay. So you just pick it up, and then get rid of that. Then you can take your blow dryer and just kind of run that water in different directions. Definitely something you'd want to practice with. But it's kind of fun. I'm just going to just to get dry. So there's how it turned out. You see it? It's kind of interesting. You can see the runs in it. I think more runs would be even more cool. And then you can decide which way you want it to be, since it's just a plain canvas. Probably this way. Make sure it's dry. Okay. Get that cleaned up. So this was my, you can imagine how pretty it would be if you did blues and greens or blues and purples. All the color variations you'd have. I kind of think I want to, maybe I'll wax it in my stain wax after I'm done chalking. So let's put this, I'm an original, and I was going to do it in black, but I think I might do it in, I think black's going to show up the best. Yeah, it'll make it look more like a hanky. So let's give it a whirl. So if you're watching, say hello. Yeah, so this was super easy. I'm gonna keep experimenting with it and get some better markers with more vivid colors. Can't seem to open this. And let's see what it looks like then. But I got this idea from Carrie. She'll probably end up watching this at some point, so I want to give her a shout out. Carrie Lonke. So this is one of our silk screens, reusable. This is the silk screen fabric in there. Make sure you can see that. And they're reusable. We just wash them in water, let them dry. This side is sticky, so it's going to hold its position on your surface. So, I'll lay this down. I'm just eyeballing, maybe. You can always get the old ruler out. Make sure it's level. I feel like it's slightly up on the right. And I'm just gonna, you can use the ink or you can use paste on canvas because you're not gonna be washing it. So I just like to use my paste more. The ink is a little thinner and you can have more chance of it bleeding under. It's just easier to work with the paste if you don't need to work with ink. Let's get this out of the way. So I can get my tools. And this is a little thick, so I'm just gonna squirt that with water. You want it like a nice soft yogurt or sour cream, maybe even slightly thinner than sour cream and yogurt, but not too thin, because again, you don't want it running underneath the blue part and then not having a nice crisp print when you're done. So another reason to make sure that water is mixed in good. Alright, and then take one of our squeegees. There's an angled edge. That's the side you want the paste on. And you're just gonna just scrape it down over it. And then you scrape off your extra, and then you scrape it down again and get a nice thin coat. You don't want to leave it on there thick. You want it to be nice and thin. So make sure you get plenty on, get all that silkscreen area filled in. Okay. The design is fairly close to the edge, so you want to make sure you don't go over the edge. On chalkboards, you can always wash it off, but on fabric, it's gonna get into the fibers and it won't come off, so be very careful. Okay, getting the extra back in there, and you just pick this up. And there it is. I'm gonna dry that with a dryer. Clean this up while we're letting that set just a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and seal it in with my stained wax to give it even more of a vintage look. I always try to scrape down the edges of my jars, get that more crusted paste down in there so it can rehydrate also. Okay. Still feels kind of moist, I think, just from this being wet. I don't want to rub the wax on it too much if it's not really dry. So let's dry it again. We'll try it. It's not rubber. So this is my dark stained finishing wax. This lasts forever. In fact, this one's getting kind of dry, so I just take chunks of it and I'll just rub it on there. You don't have to do this. I'm just going to age it up a little bit. I'm not going to rub too hard around that paste because it may not be really dried and cured on there, so. But I am liking the look I'm getting. This would look sharp in a painted black wood frame. That would really make the original pop out. So it's kind of helping getting that white not so bright. There, you see it? Pretty cool. Turned out kind of a salmon color, but it's still really sharp looking. Tan, brickish maybe. I like it. So I also want to go ahead and I'm going to wash the transfer, and then I'm going to ink on a tank top shirt for one of my daughters to wear. Same transfer. Just so you can see the versatility of our transfers and all the different things you can do with them. That's kind of fun. I'm definitely going to do that again. I like how that watercolor look is. Pretty cool. What do y'all think? Fun, easy craft. Kids could do this too. A lot of cute kids transfers that it would work on. All right, let's wash this transfer and we'll get the t-shirt out. And we will ink on that today. I need to get me a new, these are what they call board erasers, but they're great for washing off chalkboards, but they're also great for washing our transfers and getting the paste or ink off of them. So let's open this up. Looks like I have to cut it. Get one of those out. And you just take this and just wipe it along the top and get all the paste or ink, whatever you're working with, off of it. Usually I just run to the sink and do this. So this one I went to Dollar Tree. Have you ever watched those YouTubers that do Dollar Tree runs and you see all that cute little stuff they get in for $1? Every time I go to the Dollar Trees out here, and I've gone to several of them, they're just a mess and there's never any of that cute stuff that they are showing. So I don't know what the deal is. Is anybody a Dollar Tree fan? Have luck getting fun stuff at Dollar Tree? Just anything they show. I swear it's not ever at our Dollar Tree. Or I might find something that they don't show either, but which is fine. I just want to know if anybody's having good luck finding stuff at Dollar Tree. All right, now I'm gonna let this dry a little bit. Let's get one of these. Are great Chocateur towels, because this side is microfiber and it's really great for drying. So I'm just sticky side up, pressing that silk screen into that towel so it dries. You can see how sticky it is. All right, just gonna lay that on the sheet there. Now let's get out our shirt. And we're gonna need one of our ink pads. And you need to put these in between inside the shirt, because you don't want the ink to go through the front onto the back. So whatever you're working on. And if it's like this, you're gonna have to put something in between, whether it's a bag or a shirt. These are great because they're sticky, so your fabric will stay in place when you're working. Okay, and get rid of the sticker. Not that it will be in the way, but okay. I debated about what color to use on this. And I decided just to go with black. I think white would be cute too. I even thought of navy, but I thought, nah, I don't want to go with navy. I think I'm going to keep it neutral. But I might just go black just to kind of keep it in respect with that. Okay, so let's put this on here. We washed off the paste, and now we're going to line it up on here. Just making sure that it's left and right, up and down, level, all that good stuff. And pressing it down really, really well. Get all the air bubbles out. And when you work with ink, put it on lightly. Don't put it on really thick like you do with paste, because you don't need much. And if you can see it getting absorbed into the fibers, then add a little bit more. But even if it doesn't, kind of having that worn vintage look is perfectly fine, depending on your project, but in most cases it will be just great. Okay, so I got it down tight, and let's see if I can, if you're really worried, you can always put painter's tape around the edge so you don't worry about it going off the edge. But I'm going to use a small squeegee, and hopefully we'll be all right. And another thing when you're working with ink on fabrics, always make sure once you get your ink open, that you didn't get in your fingers, so that when you go to pick up your transfer, you're not putting ink up here on the corners or anything like that. So just be really careful, because it is ink. It's going to stay on there, even if you haven't heat set it yet. So just get a little bit on and just start lightly. Don't press hard. And it's not going to dry as fast as paste, so you can work a little slower. And by dry, I mean when the paste dries inside your transfer, like on a board, it sticks to your transfer, sticks to that silk screen. So you want to work quickly and get it off. But when you're working on fabric and with ink, it doesn't dry that fast. So you can take your time and get it on there how you want it. Get it all filled in. And then once our ink is dry, I usually just let it dry like overnight if I'm not in a hurry. Then we heat set it with an iron or an easy press to make that ink permanent, really permanent, so when you wash and dry it, it'll always be there. It'll be there even if you don't heat set it, but the heat setting makes it more permanent. And it kind of makes it part of the fabric. You know, it takes it to that next level of getting it down into the fabric. Okay, so now I'm just smoothing it. Getting it all in there. Okay, perfect. Shut this so we don't have an accident. Checking my fingertips. You see how I got some ink there? This was already paste, I believe, but that was probably ink. So I'm just going to take a wipe, Clorox wipe, and make sure everything is clean. Because I have ruined or had to do something to fix it by getting ink on my shirts. Okay, so we're dry. So now we can pick this up. That also. You see it in there. I'm an original. That turned out really good. And here's our watercolor canvas that we did. I was basically experimenting with making those watercolors with markers. Turned out cute. You could always frame this if you want to, or just set it on a shelf. So we'll let this dry, and tomorrow I will heat set it with my easy press, or tonight. You can blow dry it with a blow dryer, and you know, hurry that process along. And then when you start to press it, you want to put parchment paper over the ink, between your ink and your iron or your easy press, just so that ink doesn't lift up onto your iron surface. So that turned out really cute. So that's how we did watercolors with markers, and it's using the same transfer with inks on a shirt. So 2 quick little projects we did, and I'm anxious to work. I think it's gonna be fun to work with more markers and canvases and see how it all comes out. But my mind's just going on different ideas. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.